Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I am really excited to dig down into today's episode. Ding dong merrily on high. I'm so excited that it's Christmas. Okay. Well, I'm almost excited. Well, no, I'm not almost excited. I'm excited that it's almost Christmas and I am feeling super duper festive because Christmas carols. I'm pretty obsessed with Christmas carols and I don't really tell people that, but in our house in December, it's like Christmas carol central. And I bore Sam to death because my favorite Christmas carol is the Pogues, you know, that one about fire stations and things. I can't ever remember the name of it, but I really, really like it. I'm looking at myself like, how do I not know the name of that one? But anyway, I really like it. It's my favourite one. And I have been playing it for the last few days on repeat because it's just my fave. So if you are feeling festive, well, so am I. And I, to be fair, I'm hoping at this point that when you're listening to this, I am on holiday. And if I'm not, damn you, flight times and flight dates for the military, then I am definitely drinking eggnog somewhere and I'm feeling smug that somehow I've managed to finish all my Christmas shopping, because at the time of recording, my Christmas shopping is basically done. I have 2 more gifts left to get and I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm going to have these all done and in the bag before December the 12th. So that for me is ambitious. It's like the first year ever that this has happened. And I'm already experiencing that smug feeling that I imagine organised people have, or organised Christmas shoppers have, when they're like, oh, watching everyone else rush around the shops on Christmas Eve. That will be me this year. I'm going to be like, oh, look at me. I feel so smug. And then next year we'll go back inevitably to my normal behaviour and have bought nothing as of like December 19th. So this year I'm revelling in my organisation. I'm not going to say that is a reason that Sam should be away every year at this point in time, because that is basically the only reason that I've managed to get everything done so early. But I'm going to revel in this one-time thing and just try and remember next year how good it felt in like September so I can be just as organised. Anyway, this episode is not just about my smug Christmas shopping habits for 2018, never to be repeated, but it's about how you can build the best business for you in 2019 and what kind of business you are building, or what kind of business you have built this year that's going to impact next year's performance and the way that you feel about your business next year. So in order to build the best business, we kind of have to do a little bit of a review on what's worked well this year, what hasn't worked well, what we've enjoyed. And in this episode, what I want to do is just take you through the questions that I ask myself so that I can understand where I feel like my business has done really well this year, what I want to keep, and also where I feel like stuff has gone a little bit awry or I'm not as happy with it, so that I can make changes for the new year. Now, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about some of the things that I would be implementing in my business this year, which I'm super, super excited about. But I want to show you how I made those decisions. And then at the end of the podcast, for those of you who are interested, I'm going to be sharing exactly what my plan is for my business next year. So if you are one of those people who's really interested in what other people do, then wait until the end. I'm going to share my plan for 2019, everything that I'm going to be doing and focusing on to make it the best year ever. And I am saying that because it's my 30th year, in case I hadn't told you enough times on the podcast. I'm going to be 30 next year, and so it is going to be the best year. I'm very excited. Right, let's dig in and let's get started with what has worked really well for you this year. Now, when I start thinking about my business and when I do my end of year reviews and start planning for a new year, the first thing I think about is what's gone well. Because actually, it's nice to start on a high note, and, you know, I want to be looking at my business from a positive perspective rather than just oh my God, all these things went hideously wrong, because that's not necessarily the best place to make decisions from. But also it lights me up thinking about things that have gone well, because it means that they are things that I have enjoyed. And those two questions kind of go hand in hand for me. What's gone really well for you this year? What's worked really well for you? And what have you actually enjoyed? in your business this year. So for me this year, things that worked really well are email marketing. It produced 65% of my revenue this year, despite the fact that I wasn't as consistent as I had been with it in previous years. And that's really set in stone for me that I'm doubling down on email marketing next year. I really enjoy it. It's a fun way for me to communicate with my audience. And the fact that I enjoyed it this year, or started to get back into enjoying it, means that it's something I actively want to take into 2019. The other things that I've enjoyed this year have been around the podcast. And again, as you know, we are doubling down on that. Hello Wednesday episodes. I hope you're enjoying them just as much as I'm enjoying putting them out there. But again, the podcast has been a major source of enjoyment for me this year. There are a couple of reasons around that. It's lit me up because I get to communicate with people, because I get to batch record, which appeals to my sense of if I need to go away or if I need to spend time with family unexpectedly. I have content that's going out there that's delivering value to you guys that I don't have to worry about. And, those have been the two things for me this year that I've really, really enjoyed. The other things this year that I've enjoyed that I'm going to talk about in more detail at the end of the podcast is working on an intensive basis with some of my clients. I've really enjoyed some of the results that my clients have got this year. And it's helped solidify who my real ideal clients are moving into 2019. Some people have had these amazing results. People like Stacey, who really, really cemented a really awesome start in cash creation, made over $49,500, and then went on to sign a $25,000 contract. We've had people like Charlie, who went on to sign an £80,000 booked revenue contract. We've had lots and lots of wins in cash creation, from people making their first sales to people making their first 5-figure months, celebrating first 10K months, celebrating brand new clients, working in new niches. And that's really, really lit me up, and so for me, what has worked really well for me this year and what's been most enjoyable for me is helping my clients get the best results possible. And that's an area that I feel like I've excelled in this year, is helping people get the best results. But given that I've enjoyed it, obviously next year I want to do more live stuff with my audience, but in a different kind of way. So what's worked well for you this year? What has brought you money? Okay, what has really lit you up every day that you're doing it? And it sounds really corny, but what's brought you joy? What have you enjoyed? Is it spending time with clients? Is it going to live events? Is it going to networking events? Is it setting up a podcast, emailing your list, doing something completely different? Maybe you've set up your first Etsy store this year or something like that. But just take a minute to think about what actually worked well for you this year. What have you enjoyed? What has really lit you up about your business in 2018? And then obviously, because we have to talk opposites sometimes, what have you done this year that you haven't enjoyed? Okay, what hasn't brought you any results? And can you actually get rid of those things and drop them and replace them with things that you like? Now, this is something that for me every year is quite challenging, because every year there are things that I don't feel like I failed at, but I feel like they haven't worked as well as I expected, or I haven't enjoyed them as much as I've expected. And so they've become, instead of something that I look forward to doing, and instead of something I get excited about selling or putting out into the world, they just feel heavy. And that makes me not want to do them. And so I know that even if they are profitable, it's not always sensible to keep up with them. Sometimes it's more sensible to actually change them and replace them with something that I do like, so that I can make more impact and also income in a way that suits the lifestyle that I want to live. Now, I've been really honest about this year, and there have been a couple of things that I haven't enjoyed. But one of the main things has been Facebook. This year, I have not enjoyed Facebook as much as previous years. And if I'm honest, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. On a couple of episodes, we discussed how I was feeling about social media in general and how I felt about people selling to me all the time on it and whether it was a good idea or a bad idea. And I'm just feeling a little bit meh about Facebook. And so in 2019, obviously I'm changing things up, and we're making my free Facebook group more of a discussion forum where we're talking about ideas that we're exploring on the podcast, which I'm really excited about. But also I'm going to change it to suit me. And actually, I'm not going to spend as much time on organic social media growth next year. I can hear the intake of breath from here. I was like, oh my God. But it's true. Next year, I'm not focusing as much on organic social media growth, purely from the perspective that I want to build a tribe of people that I can communicate with regularly. And the ways that I enjoy communicating are through my podcast and are through my email list. I have been enjoying, I must admit, putting Instagram stories up and doing some behind the scenes stuff. So that's going to stay. But the things that I'm going to drop are this incessant need to have a bunch more people follow me on Twitter or a bunch more people follow my Facebook business page. Instead, I'm going to focus on what I'm good at, which is actually turning ad spend into revenue. So I'm going to stop focusing on tons and tons of organic social media growth, and instead I'm going to invest my time, money and energy into more ad spend and into really converting that and helping to build my tribe that way, and building a tribe of more poddies and more people on my email list, because that's just where I want to double down and focus in 2019. So what have you not enjoyed this year? What are the things that haven't brought you results? What are the things that you've felt really heavy about, or you've kept putting off, or you've found that they're consistently the things that you procrastinate on? Now, there are going to be some things that you cannot ditch, all right? I have wanted to ditch accounting for a long time, but apparently not legal. So I have outsourced it. So, if you are thinking about this and you're thinking about, oh, well, I don't like this and I don't like that, if they are business critical tasks, accounting, legal, some of the tech stuff, instead of getting rid of them completely, think about outsourcing them and think about, giving them to people who actually enjoy doing those tasks. And then that way you kill two birds with one stone. One, your business is legally protected, and two, you're not the one who's having to do all the crap jobs. Okay. So think about that. What are the things that you have done this year that you haven't enjoyed? Perhaps they were things you felt like you should do. And what can you replace them with? Can you outsource them? Can you replace them with different tasks that will be more enjoyable for you? The other thing I think about is, where have my clients come from this year? And this is a really important one. Obviously, I'm biased because sales. But for me, when I look at my clients' businesses and what's going to make them the most successful, we have to ultimately look at, where are their clients finding them? Where are their customers finding them? Now, this does require a little bit of spreadsheet work, and I'm that obsessive person who has a little spreadsheet, and I look at every single client and I try and track them back to their initial sign up. So how they initially found me, so that I can look at what is working best. And the majority, or the rising up and comer for me this year in terms of quality lead generation, has been the podcast. So thank you to all of you for listening, and thank you to all of you for signing up for my email list. And if it's been right for you and the right offers have been there for you this year, then thank you for buying from me. And that my podcast really has been this huge source of leads for me this year. It's brought in over 20% of leads, like total leads, into my business, which is huge for a brand new traffic source, and that's effectively what it is. So that was really, really exciting for me. And when I look at where the majority of my clients have come from this year, actually the majority of my clients have come from my podcast, and they've come from my email marketing. They haven't come from my Facebook group. And in fact, my Facebook group has not stagnated, but it's had far fewer people join this year. We've promoted it in albeit a lackluster kind of way. And what we've found is that it's just not getting the traction that it once was. It's still super engaged. We still run awesome challenges in there and everything for the existing audience, but it's just not getting, or as many people joining through the organic search function as it once was. And so for me, I'm obviously going to dial down and double down on those places that I was managing to find clients this year. And for me, that is all going to be about spending more time and more energy on the podcast and on my email marketing. We've already established this. You're like, Jess, stop banging on about the podcast and your email marketing. We know. So what has brought you clients this year? Where have you found them? Are you the complete antithesis to me? Are all of your clients coming from Facebook? And is now the time for you to actually double down on Facebook and perhaps grow your group bigger, spend money on paid advertising? Or are you actually thinking, oh my goodness, actually the source of my clients this year has been word of mouth referrals, or the source of my clients has been Instagram or LinkedIn or something completely different, because that's going to set the tone for your client generation strategy, or your main client generation strategy for next year. Knowing what has brought your clients this year means you know where you can double down and help get more clients for the next one. And then the other thing I look at is what offers sold most quickly this year. Was it intensives versus long courses? Was it one-to-one versus groups? Was it products versus services? And I look at all of these things because it means that I don't waste my time on vanity offers or vanity metrics, right? I don't rerun courses that don't sell that well, or that my audience didn't respond well to, or that people get into and then go, oh, I'm not sure I want to complete this. I'm not sure it's integral to me. Now, I'm really fortunate in my business. We have a 98% completion rate in an industry that has a 12% completion rate. So actually we're doing really well on getting people to complete courses, but there are certainly offers this year that have sold out quicker than others. One of the offers that actually has sold out quickest is the cash creation course, and that sells out super quickly every single time, and it's done it. We've now had 8 rounds of cash creation, and so that signifies to me that offer is perhaps ready to go on evergreen. So that's something that in 2019 I will be looking at putting on evergreen and not running any more live rounds of. We've ironed out all of the kinks in it. We know exactly what people go through. We know how to make it the best version of the program that we possibly can. And so it's quite likely that in 2019, because it's an offer that consistently sells out quickly, it means it will perform well with cold traffic. And that means that it's something we can run on evergreen and be super, super confident in. The other things that have sold out really well this year have been intensives. So I've run a number of different types of intensives, both one-to-one, group, and weekend intensive retreats, like the Income and Impact in-person implementation intensive, all the eyes. Those intensives have sold out really, really well this year. And so those are things that I am definitely going to be doing more of in 2019, not necessarily in the same format, but I have realized that for my audience, my action takers, people like to learn things and do things quickly. They don't want to be wasting time planning out the theory for weeks and weeks. They just want to get straight into the action and make it happen. And so for my audience, intensives have worked incredibly well. The other offers that have sold out really well this year have been any opportunity to get one-to-one time with me. And that's been really interesting because I retired from one-to-one coaching quite a long time ago, and I brought it back in a very limited capacity this year, working with just 2 clients a quarter in a one-to-one capacity. So that's something that I wasn't expecting. I didn't know whether I was going to fly straight back into one-to-one and love it, or whether I was going to kind of think, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming again. But actually what I've realized is that I love working intensely one-to-one with businesses. I just have this thing where I want them to get the best results possible. So actually it's really important. And one of the things that we have implemented in preparation for 2019 are stringent application processes. So that we know that we're working with the right people that are genuinely going to take action on the information that we're giving them, and we're giving them long enough to see results and to troubleshoot anything that needs to be tweaked as well. So those are the things for me that sold out quickest this year. But what are the offers that sold out quickest for you? And if you're thinking, well, Jess, none of my offers sold out particularly quickly, or maybe you didn't have an offer that sold out, what did you sell most of? What did you find it easiest to sell? What did you find it easiest to deliver? What was most enjoyable for you to deliver? Sell more of that in 2019, because ultimately, again, when you enjoy something, when you're passionate about it, when you genuinely believe in the transformation and the outcome that your client is going to get, it's going to be so much easier for you to sell. So collate all of that into a spreadsheet, understand what has worked well for you this year, what you're going to do more of in 2019, what have you enjoyed, what have you done this year that you haven't enjoyed or that hasn't done as well, how can we scrap that, what can we replace it with, or do we need to outsource it? Where have your clients come from this year? Do more of that, because that will potentially be your key client generating strategy in 2019. And what offers sold out quickest? What was easiest for you to deliver? What did you enjoy the most? And those will be some of your key offers that you might want to be selling in 2019 as well. Now, my plan, just in case you're thinking, oh, interesting, Jess, what are you going to be up to? My plan, obviously, I'm going to be doubling down on the podcast, the email marketing, and Instagram stories for some behind the scenes content. In terms of my offers, I'm going to be selling more intensives, and I'm going to be doing some in-person experiences, because actually one of the things that's come to me this year is that I love hugging people and I love working in person with people to understand an idea or to achieve a result. I'm going to be doing more speaking, because actually that's one of my offers that has done incredibly well this year and that I want to do more of. Speaking for me is an active offer. And the thing that I didn't enjoy this year, or one of the things that I didn't enjoy this year, was my Facebook group. So I'm changing it up. We're making it more about the podcast, more about a discussion forum, and that's already started to some degree. And I'm moving away from this organic social media and spending more of my time on paid traffic, so that I can spend my real time and energy on the platforms that I really enjoy and the traffic sources that I really enjoy, like the podcast. All right, so let me know what you are planning for your 2019. Pop into the group. Feel free to let me know what you have enjoyed most about 2018 in your business, what you have enjoyed least about your business in 2018, and what you are going to implement for 2019. I'm super, super excited to support you as part of the Smart Leaders Sell community. And I'm really excited that when we talk next week, if you are listening, if you've got your earbuds in on Christmas Eve, that me and you are going to get to spend some time on Christmas Eve together and just think about celebrating 2018, celebrating what we've achieved collectively, and doing a little bit of a roundup of what the key lessons, key learns, key takeaways, and key sales strategies are from 2018 that you can use to have the best 2019 ever. I hope you are having an amazing week. I hope you get all of your Christmas shopping done and that you can sit there smugly enjoying the fact that your Christmas shopping is done and you can relax right up until the big day. Have an epic week. I will see you on Friday, where we have an awesome special guest. We're doing a couple of different episodes. We're just breaking up the six-figure series, and that'll be back in January for you all. But we've got a couple of special guests over the next 2 weeks just to help get you into sales mode and prepped and ready for post-festive period selling. Have an epic week. I will see you on Friday's episode, and I will see you on Christmas Eve. Have a wonderful time.